Hi, what's good, YouTube? So, I know I haven't posted in a couple weeks. I've been sick recently, and I've just been busy with a lot of other stuff. But I'm back now, and I'm gonna be trying posting a lot more. Maybe like every week, maybe a couple times a week. I'm not really too sure. It just depends on how busy I am. But yeah, I'm gonna be trying posting some more like gaming, IRL vlog stuff. Gonna be streaming a lot. Maybe on YouTube or Twitch. I'm not really too sure which one I'm gonna do. Probably both. Uh, but yeah, I thought today I was gonna do a chapter review or like a arc review on the Romance Dawn in One Piece. I currently just started reading the manga, and I've been watching the anime for a while. I'm currently on Dressrosa. I think I'm on like episode 650 something, so I'm a good way through the show. But I just thought it'd be kind of cool to post like some One Piece content, just talking about it, and like some arc reviews, like kind of what I'm doing in this episode, and just some other like theories and whatnot. And yeah, I think it's about it. So let's just get on into it. All right, so the story of One Piece pretty much just starts out with us getting a bit of history into the background of the world. It starts out with us being introduced to Gold Roger, who was the king of the pirates, and it's just given to us that he attained all the world had to offer: wealth, fame, and power. And in this scene, he's just being executed, and someone asks him where he left all of his treasure at. And he pretty much just says that if you want to find it, or if you want to have it, you just got to find it. He left it all in one place. And this starts the whole great age of piracy. Now, immediately after this, we go straight into Luffy's past. Now, I'm going to be kind of going off in the order that the manga has it. The manga starts off with Luffy's past, and then, but in the anime, it starts out with Luffy and Alvida. Um, but we'll get that into that part later. So we're gonna be kind of going how the manga has it. Basically, in the first scene of the manga, we get Luffy stabbing himself in the face. Now, this obviously doesn't work. It pretty much just backfires on him because Shanks still doesn't let him go on a trip with the crew. And pretty much throughout this whole chapter, or the first part of the chapter, it's just him and his crew partying, having a good time. And while they're having a good time, the mountain bandits who pretty much live on the island come out and start messing up the place because the Shanks and his crew drank up all the beer and everything. And uh, I don't really remember what the mountain bandits leader's name was, but he pretty much just kind of throws a bunch of stuff, like food and stuff, on Shanks, and Shanks pretty much just kind of says, just kind of brushes it off, and this, at this point, teaches Luffy kind of like a really good lesson, because at first he didn't like it. He didn't like how Shanks dealt with it. He thought, he didn't deal with the situation very good. He thought he should have fought back. And this will pretty much kind of teach Luffy how to deal with situations later on. Now, while they were partying, Luffy ate the gum gum fruit, which devil fruits in the whole series are just basically fruits that you eat and you get some special powers. In Luffy's case, he got the ability to stretch his arms. And a little. So now the story just kind of goes on a little bit, and Shanks' crew kind of go on one of their voyages, and while Luffy's on the island, the mountain bandits come down and they start talking bad about Shanks, and Luffy doesn't like this. And then he kind of gets into a conflict with all the mountain bandits, and the mountain bandits are kind of messing him up, and Shanks arrives just in time to save him. And Shanks didn't, act quick enough, and they pretty much kidnap Luffy, and they drag him out all the way to the ocean, and they, in the mountain bandit leader, pushes him off in the boat in the water. I forgot to mention that once you eat the devil fruit, you can't swim, so Luffy is just pretty much in the ocean right now, about drowning. And then the sea beast just pretty much comes up and tries to eat Luffy. And the mountain bandit, he eats the mountain bandit, and then Shanks kind of rushes in, losing his arm, saving Luffy from the the sea. I think it's called a sea king or the sea serpent. Um, and yeah, this is just kind of like one of those like odd scenes because Shanks just loses his arm. Um, yeah, and then after that, they're both on the island, and Shanks is now leaving for good. And Luffy says here that he's gonna become king of the pirates, and Shanks gives Luffy his hat and tells him, "Once you're a good enough pirate, bring this hat back to me." Which is probably one of my most favorite scenes in the show. It's so cool, and that's pretty much all of like Luffy's past that were pretty much given. I might have skipped over a couple things. Um, and then right after this, it pretty much fast forwards. I believe it's 10 years when Luffy's 17, and he sets sail to become a pirate. He spent those 10 years just training, trying to perfect his skill and just getting stronger. And as soon as he sets out into the sea, he gets sucked into a whirlpool. Um, and once he gets sucked into the whirlpool, he gets brought up um, onto Alvida's ship or island. In the manga, it's an island, but in the anime, it's a ship. Um, there's a couple pretty much differences like in between the manga and the show. In the manga, Kobe actually finds the barrel, but in the anime, it's a couple of like Alvida's crewmates. Um, but yeah, uh, so in the manga, Kobe finds him and he brings him up on to like the island or their base, um, and Alvida's base. And Alvida is just kind of just an East Blue pirate. Nothing really too special about her. She's just you know a woman pirate. Um, but yeah, when when Kobe brings up the barrel onto the island, Luffy just kind of busts out of the barrel and just is happy that he's alive and that he had a real nice nap. And this is the part where like Kobe actually gets to meet Luffy, and we're actually introduced to pretty much Kobe's character. And Kobe's situation is he was one day went out fishing and got onto the wrong boat and ended up spending 2 years of his life with Alvida. Now, um, at this point, we're kind of like given, into this like idea of dreams and like chasing your dreams and like, uh, just going after like what you want. And Kobe wants to become a Marine, which uh, is cool because we get like kind of another side into the story. And one of the quotes, one of my most favorite things that Luffy says, or kind of says to Kobe, is as long as I uh, die trying to reach my dream, at least I tried, which I pretty much paraphrase it, but it's kind of one of my more favorite things that Luffy says. And Kobe's character, he's pretty, scared and kind of skeptical of everything and just, is always afraid. And which kind of makes sense because he's been living with Alvida for so long. Uh, but really, what happens here is Kobe pretty much builds up the courage, to tell Alvida he ain't gonna put up with it no more. And Alvida and Luffy, I guess, just fight and whatnot. And Luffy ends up winning, of course. And that's pretty much it. There's not really a whole lot that really happens. Kobe and Luffy then get a boat and they go out to sea. Now, uh, at this part, a little bit before, they're actually mentioned Zoro's name, Rowanoa Zoro. Now, the one thing about the manga that irritates me the most is that they call him Zolo. I haven't been able to find any other translation where his name is actually Zoro. I don't know why they did that. It kind of confuses me, but it is what it is. But Luffy and Kobe sail out, and they end up arriving at like a marine, like naval town base, whatever. And once they get there, they're pretty much looking for Zoro. And whenever they say Zoro or the base's captain, what's his name, Captain Morgan, everybody freaks out. Now, I am really kind of uh, what am I trying to say here? I'm completely blanking. What I'm trying to say here is this part in um, the show kind of gives us a side of the Marines that's bad. So the first real encounter of the Marines that we actually get in One Piece is a bad one. Pretty much they're perceived as corrupt. And which I think is kind of an interesting, way to portray the Marines at the beginning. Which will kind of go, you'll kind of see this theme throughout uh, the rest of One Piece. Now, uh, in the story, it basically just kind of goes that Luffy and Kobe get there and they go to the uh, like kind of area where Zoro is held, and Luffy asks Zoro if he'll join his crew, but at first Zoro pretty much declines, and he says he's kind of got his own thing that he wants to do, and Zoro is my number two favorite character. I absolutely love him. My number one favorite character, Straw Hat, comes up a bit down the road. Now, and also in this one part, we're given the little girl who makes rice balls for Zoro, but Helmeppo comes in and just kind of stomps him in the ground. And Helmeppo is like one of the most annoying characters in this first part. He's just annoying. Okay, he's basically just the entitled rich son of the captain on the base, Morgan. Um, and there's really not much to say about him. He's just Helmeppo. Now, uh, at this point, he like stomps the rice balls in the ground, and Luffy ends up feeding the rice balls to Zoro because Zoro was like really hungry. And Zoro was originally put in this place because uh, he ended up like punching or cutting one of Helmeppo's like dogs because they were like terrorizing everybody, and he was given the like deal that if he survived a whole month with no food, he would be let free. I don't know how he would have survived a whole month without food, but anyways, um, Luffy and Kobe end up leaving, and they learn about this. They learn about how Zoro saved everybody. So they actually learn about this, and then they come back because they ended up leaving before they knew this. And when they get back, what am I keep blanking. I don't know why. When they get back, he asks him to join his crew again, and Zoro says no. And this part, I'm a little fuzzy on. I'm trying to remember. Basically, this is like kind of where Luffy fights Morgan. He ends up like, stretching his arm up to the top, and he knocks down the statue of Morgan. And then Morgan, Captain Morgan doesn't like this, so he goes after Luffy. But Luffy, is trying to find Zoro's swords. Now, once Luffy finds Zoro's swords, he pretty much brings them to him. And now this is where we get Zoro's like kind of past or background. We kind of get like a little Zoro flashback, which is the only one we pretty much get. Now, um, basically, it just kind of tells us how like Zoro, in his training and how he wants to become the world's greatest swordsman, uh, and how his like I guess I don't even know. I guess his like training buddy Kuina ended up dying, and he made a promise to her that he'd become the world's greatest swordsman. And he pretty much lives with this dream every day, and his whole goal is to be the world's greatest swordsman. And that's pretty much all we're really given. And so really not a whole lot there. But Luffy ends up saving Zoro from getting shot because before the flashback happened, Zoro's like about to get shot, and Luffy just jumps in. It just blocks all the bullets. And this is where Zoro actually joins the crew because Zoro really has no other option, and yeah, and Zoro and Luffy just pretty much team up and fight everybody and defeat Morgan and whatnot. It's just a kind of like a really cool like fight scene, just seeing the dynamic duo just go at it. And once they're done fighting, the whole like town loves them, and the Marines, they Zoro and Luffy end up just kind of getting some grub eating, and the Marines pretty much tell them they got to go because they're pirates. Um, and this is where like they pretty much just kind of part ways with Kobe. They ended up playing out some little skit to because the Marines think Kobe's a friend with the pirates, but ended up convincing him that he's not, and it allows Kobe to join the Marines, and Zoro and Luffy go out to sea. That's pretty much where this all stops, and then they kind of go on to their next adventure. Um, I kind of skipped over a couple things. I don't know. I'm not very good at you know talking in front of a camera. I'm getting kind of used to it, but my overall part of like this first kind of introduction to the series, I absolutely love it. I love Zoro, I love Luffy, and just their whole like chemistry together. And yeah, this is I'd say out of like a one out of 10, this part's probably like a 10. All right, it's just a really good start. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Next week, I'm gonna try and upload another, I guess like review talk. I'm gonna look up what chapters it is. It's gonna be, hold on. I have my phone in front of my screen here, so I'll look about it. I should be Orangetown. Arcs. Let me see here. Go on the wiki here. So yeah, next one is gonna be Orangetown, chapters 8 through 21. So that's gonna be quite a few chapters, and then episodes 4 through 8. So that'll be next. I guess next week's episode. I'm gonna try and maybe upload that. Maybe same time next week. I don't know. I'll have to see. But if y'all did enjoy, maybe drop a like, maybe subscribe. I'm gonna be posting a lot more here. So if you want to see some other stuff, I'll be posting that too. And yeah, I think it's gonna be about it. See ya.